Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to Casual Discussion, the show where we talk and try to have fun. I'm Alex from Azelrix, and recently I uploaded a video about the wonders of the show Gravity Falls from Disney Studio. I developed on the fact that it's a wonderful show, it's greatly animated, and it's high quality content. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please watch the video here because this video is a complement of the first one. Just like I did with South Park, I thought about all the episodes of Gravity Falls I really enjoyed, and I was like, I need to talk more about this wonderful show. I need to tell people how much I love some of these episodes. And with South Park, I did a 16 episode you should see. And I just don't want to do a top, a tier list, etc. without a deeper meaning behind them. And when I thought about Gravity Falls and all the episodes I enjoy, something jumped to my mind. Even though there are indeed episodes I enjoy a little bit more than others, Gravity Falls doesn't have a single bad episode. Obviously, there are weaker scenarios, weaker animation, weaker plots, but at no point are there 22 minutes of Gravity Falls that are straight up bad. So I decided to show you the best of the best. Without further ado, here are the 10 best episodes of Gravity Falls ranked. Quick disclaimer before we begin, I'm gonna spoil in this video. Once again, I'm gonna spoil like my life depends on it. If you behind your screen haven't seen Gravity Falls, you need to go check it out. Come back, subscribe to the channel obviously, follow me on my social medias. Appreciate this ranking because trust me, I couldn't sleep knowing full well that I spoiled Gravity Falls for someone. Alright, now that this is out of the way, let's talk Gravity Falls. That sounded a bit familiar. Number 10, Blandon's Game. There are a few things all the fans of Gravity Falls can agree on, and one of those things is their love for Rick and Morty. So when the character Blandon was introduced in season 1, not only was he very Rick and Morty-like, except you trade the interdimensional travel for time travel, but he was indeed voiced by the same voice actor who voices Rick and Morty, and the voice actor is also the creator of Rick and Morty, and he uses the same voice he uses for Morty.
Oh, you don't believe me? Guess where I was?
Whoa!
That's right, 15 years ago there was a costume store right here.
And it's overall a great episode. So why did I put the second episode in this top? It's because there are other things in Gravity Falls that are very great, and one of those is the family team. When we see the character of Soos, we think big brother figure, best friend everyone needs, and your average Joe who's just a very nice guy overall.
Remember the plan. Protect the machine, earn Stan's trust, legally get adopted by Stan, change name to Stan Jr. I have a new mission now! Protecting these kids! Hey, no sweat, dude. I'd do anything for the Pines family.
Soos! I need to scratch myself in 2 places at once!
And I mean anything. I wonder what Stan's thinking about right now. I love Soos like a son!
So in this episode, when we discover how much pain his dad's absence has caused him, it hurts. The main plot of the episode revolves around Dipper and Mable trying to help Soos cope with the absence of his dad for like the 20th birthday in a row. Only problem, Blandon will abduct them and challenge them in the trial of Globnark.
Welcome to Globnar!
An inter-timeline tournament where the winner can do essentially what they want with the loser. The animation is great, a quick homage to Tron. Time Baby is one of the most hilarious lore drop in the entire show.
Welcome, Globnar tributes. I have a very important nap to get to, so let's make this quick.
The episode is filled with some pretty great jokes.
My friend thinks you're cute. Oh my gosh! Tambourine! Shut up! Hey!
Thank you. I mean, you're super young, so this is weird.
Now you know how she feels, creep.
And on the more emotional side of things, if you didn't shed a tear when you realize why Soos hates his birthday, you are either not human or you don't care enough about Gravity Falls to watch the rest of this video.
It's for my dad, actually. I haven't seen him in like 8 years, but he's coming today. That must be him! Sorry, champ. Couldn't make it this year. Real busy again. See you next year for sure. Dad. I'm gonna go lay down. You party without me, dude.
Number 9, Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. This is a Dungeons and Dragons homage episode if you didn't get that. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, you're gonna love this episode. So after the apparition of the character of Forbes, Stan, our main grunkle, decided that he wanted his brother to stay away from the kids.
Fine, on one condition. You stay away from the kids. I don't want them in danger. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're the only family I have left.
Right after that, Dipper and Mabel are bored, like in every Gravity Falls episode, and Dipper decides to play Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons, an even nerdier version of Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously, Mabel makes fun of him.
This is like Homework the Game.
Only a game designed by nerds would have charisma as a fantasy power.
Say it again.
Buttress!
But Forbes decides to play with Dipper with an infinite possibility dice.
An infinity-sided die. Whoa! If I rolled it, anything could happen. Our faces could melt into jelly. The world could turn into an egg. Or you could just roll an 8.
This episode is great because it opens the door to so many possibilities. So why is it only number 9? It's because, well, there are infinite possibilities. There could have been more. This episode could easily have been a double episode. My theory about that is that they just made a huge lore drop double episode the week before, so obviously they didn't want to saturate the viewer. And in my main video about Gravity Falls, once again, I developed on the fact that Forbes and Stan are essentially parallels to Dipper and Mabel. Forbes is what Dipper could become and Stan what Mabel could become if they don't stick together. And this is the episode that really puts the ground rules for this, as we see the chaotic and jock version of Mabel and Stan borderline bullying Dipper and Forbes while they're just trying to play a board game.
Listen, Stanley, did it ever occur to you that if you joined us, you might actually have fun?
What? Now you listen to me. As long as I live, I will never, Uncle Stan, wait! Ever
Stanley!
Play your smarty pants nerd game!
Only to finally discover that the game is pretty fun and that they should keep an open mind.
Baby sword! Super hot baby sword!
Overall, a great episode filled with great Dungeons and Dragons reference.
Yeah, they change the art every few years. Thankfully, you missed the period when the creators of the game tried to make it cooler.
You dare challenge probabilitism?
With the tickety dungeons and all that! Updated for the non-double deuce!
Must have been dark times, those 90s.
I love it when TV show makes Dungeons and Dragons reference. What do you think about that community? Son of a bitch! Number 8. Into the bunker. It's time to talk about one thing that really made polemic in Gravity Falls. As you might have guessed by the animation, the character design, the colors and everything in betweens, Gravity Falls is mainly aimed at kids. But there are a handful of episodes in Gravity Falls that revolves around horror theme, along with violence, with darker themes and everything that most parents would not be allowing their child to watch. There was even a handful of parental complaint about the show back in the day, and the bunker episode really jiggle around the line of what Disney XD and Disney Channel can show to your kids. And this is why I love it. The plot of the episode revolves around Soos, Mable, Dipper, and Wendy going inside a bunker before finding out Forbes wrote the journal. They find his bunker full of his experiment, and one experiment got loose. It's a shapeshifter capable of taking the form of anyone. The episode quickly goes into an homage to the classic horror movie The Thing. Characters not trusting each other, with the evil shapeshifter taking their form to trick them. Why I really like this episode, the antagonist really has an interesting character design. Look at that, is it a reptile? Is it an insect? We don't know. Also, this is the episode where Dipper finally confesses his love to Wendy.
I never even got a chance to tell you, I'm like in love with you, Wendy.
Dipper?
Which starts a little character arc for Dipper to overcome this crush.
Dipper, I'm like super flattered, but I'm too old for you. I mean, you know that, right?
To finally grow into a more mature adult. Meanwhile, this is one of these times where Wendy is a badass with a capital B. But also, this is an episode that really advanced the overarching plot. It's the second episode of season 2, and you know that in the middle of the season, who wrote the journal will be revealed as Forbes. So now you find his lab with all his experiments and etc. And you see I have a little side theory with this episode. Forbes was conducting experiment on a shapeshifter, and that Bill Cipher himself is a shapeshifter. I believe that Forbes was trying to develop in lab a creature powerful enough to go toe-to-toe with Cipher.
You're so clever, don't you, Dipper? But you have no idea what you're up against. You will never find the author. If you keep digging, you'll meet a fate worse than you can imagine. And this will be the last form you ever take.
Tell me what you think about this theory in the comment section. Number 7, the Society of the Blind Eye. If you like Old Man McGucket as much as I do, please subscribe to this channel. And if you are already subscribed, create another account and subscribe again, because that's how much love McGucket deserves. Especially in this episode. So the Society of the Blind Eye, their mission is to wipe the memory of everyone who saw something weird in Gravity Falls. Only problem is they use a memory gun developed in a secret lab, wink wink, and you see that every time someone gets their mind wiped with this secret gun, their mind goes closer to madness. And it is revealed at the end of the episode that McGucket was indeed a scientist working with Forbes, but that he saw something that he just couldn't unsee, and that he used the gun on himself multiple times, taking off McGucket the scientist and introducing the old crazy man McGucket.
My name is Fiddleford Hadron McGucket, and I wish to unsee what I have seen.
Sweet sarsaparilla.
Test subject 1, Fiddleford. It worked. I help those who want to forget by erasing their bad memories. Today I came across a colony of little men, very disturbing. Accidentally hit another car in town today. I feel terrible. Terrible. I've been forgetting words lately.
I love this episode because it's a big lore drop. Not only do you see how Gravity Falls react to the mysteries and weirdness, once again proving my analysis that Gravity Falls itself is some sort of super character, but also when McGucket starts finding more and more memories and becomes a bit more lucid than he used to be, this is where the final storyline with Forbes, with Bill, with Weird Mageddon sets off. And when you watch this episode, at the end you have truly the sensation of having an answer to some questions. But don't worry, there are plenty of questions left to be answered. Number 6, Scary Okie. How did that episode aired on Disney is beyond me. Karaoke is the opening episode of Season 2, and let's just say Season 2 opened with a bang. My personal theory is that the Disney executives were not that sure Gravity Falls would work, and after the appeal of Season 1 they decided, fuck it, let's make a great Season 2 opening. Just like The Shapeshifter, it's a great horror episode, paying tribute to classic zombie movies like World War Z, 28 Weeks Later, Night of the Living Dead, and so on. Is World War Z classic yet? This is also an episode that advances the plot. You see, the episode consists into Mable throwing a big party and Dipper trying to elucidate more mysteries in Gravity Falls and going into contact with some federal agents. Naturally, the federal agents don't believe the 12 years old believing there are fairies and goblins in Gravity Falls. In a desperate attempt, Dipper decides to literally raise the dead to prove his point.
I can confirm, not funny.
No, it's real, I swear! You should send it to the lab! Wait! This book is real! Gnomes! Cursed objects! Sandovicia! Ha! A zombie! A real, actual zombie! See? Spooky journal, 100% real. Now can we work together?
And then the episode turns into a zombie apocalypse. Jesus Christ, how many dead people are there beneath the mystery shack? You realize Grunkle Stan is probably a mass murderer, right? But midway through the episode, Stan reveals that he did know about the weirdness of Gravity Falls. And keep in mind, this is the first episode of Season 2. I often talk about an overarching plot of Gravity Falls, something that is developed in the background, and it is true mainly for season 1. In season 1, you see the weirdness of Gravity Falls, but with this season 2 opening, the message from the writers to the viewers is something is coming. Stay tuned, it's gonna be big. So the lore drop is magnificent, great homage, this animation, these colors, and goddamn, this is one of the most badass Stan moments in the entire series.
You two, attic, now! Right, you undead jerks, you ready to die twice? The only wrinkly monster who harasses my family is me! Take that!
Badass. Number 5. Dreamscapers. If you've watched the video, you know it, Bill Cipher is not only my favorite Gravity Falls character, but my favorite villain, all fiction put together. And that's for many reasons. He's cleverly written, cleverly designed, cleverly animated. He is as funny as he is scary.
Perhaps I can be one of your, horsemen of the apocalypse?
Oh wow, that's a great offer! How about instead I shuffle the functions of every hole in your face?
So naturally, his first episode is a bang. Dreamscapers is about little Gideon trying to overtake the Mystery Shack once again, and for that he uses his own journal number 2, to conjure Bill Cipher. They make a deal in which Bill must go into Stan's mind and take the information Gideon needs to legally overtake the shack.
Remember, reality is an illusion, the universe is a hologram, buy gold, buy!
This is where you truly see how great of a threat Bill is. Let's count the red flag, shall we? Gideon summons in what is literally a satanic ritual. They make a deal just like demons are known to do. He can enter Stan's mind at will. He morphs as time, space, and reality. And he is quick to anger. All details making Bill great in this episode and setting him up to be even greater in further episodes. On the side of Stan, this is one of his greatest development episodes, which is ironic because he was basically asleep the entire runtime. You truly understand the relationship between Stan and Dipper, why Stan is so hard on him, and how it helps Dipper cope with his flaws.
It was terrible. I was the biggest wimp on the playground. See? That's why I'm hard on Dipper. To toughen him up, so when the world fights, he fights back. When push comes to shove, I'm actually proud of him. Just don't ever tell him that. His head's big enough as it is.
That's true.
This is also an episode that hints at how much sadness is within Grunkle Stan. His insecurities, his family problems, and everything in between. But you also see that underneath all that, Stan is an actual great guy.
Whoa, kid, what are you doing here? Nice hole in your chest, by the way. Let's fix that up. Not bad, kid. Not bad.
He cares about his family, he cares about his friends, and the exterior of the grumpy old man is just a hard shell to be cracked. And you know it, in Gravity Falls you gotta pay attention in each frame if you want to catch all the action. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one if not the first episode to hint at the existence of Grunkle Forbes.
Oh, I know lots of things.
Lots of things.
Wait, Stan Pines.
But also his rivalry with Bill, setting up Stan's storyline about loving his family, about being the protector, and everything that makes Forbes, Stan, and Bill great. Number 4, Summerween. This episode. This goddamn episode. Halloween episodes are a tradition as old as TV itself. And in the world of animation, if there is one incontested king of Halloween episode, it's The Simpsons. And if I'm telling you that, it's because I truly believe Summerween is as great as the best special Treehouse of Horror episode of The Simpsons. Let's talk a little bit about the Summerween tradition. The town of Gravity Falls decided that they like Halloween so much that they need to have an Halloween in the middle of the summer. The kids get dressed stub, and let's face it, there are pretty shady things happening in bars. Am I demonetized yet? And I really like this concept for the sole reason that it really sticks to the characterization of the town of Gravity Falls. These people live in a neighborhood full of gnomes, vampires, werewolves. So obviously, yeah, when you grow up in that environment, you get accustomed to a certain amount of weirdness. Hence the tradition of Summerween.
Summer what? Summerween! The people of this town love Halloween so much they celebrate it twice a year.
The plot of the episode revolves around Dipper and Mabel going toe-to-toe with the Summerween spirit. Essentially the ghost of all the candies kids don't eat.
I've never even heard of these brands. Sand Pop? Gummy chairs? Mr. Adequate Bar?
Yeah, you know that little piece of bacon bubblegum that is sticking inside your desk for the last 10 years or so? That's the Summerween spirit. And they have to bring him enough candy by the end of the night, or they will be eaten. Once again, that's a great horror episode. And why do I repeat myself? It's to truly expose the fact that the Gravity Falls writer know how to play with the horror codes. It shows that you don't need a pool full of blood, violence, sex, and everything that makes horror to truly show that you're mastering the codes of this genre. And it's also an episode that characterized Dipper and Mable. Dipper, he wants to go out with Wendy, he wants to be an adult, a responsible man, and Mable, she doesn't want to grow up too fast. She wants to stay a little kid who hyperactively jumps in her bed and to watch TV instead of doing homeworks.
Like I was getting a little too old to go trick-or-treating.
That's exactly why we need to go trick-or-treating, Dipper. We're getting older. There's not that many Halloweens left.
And I often talk a lot about the character development of Soos, Wendy, other side characters that have an episode dedicated to them, which is why the episode is great. But we need to remember that Dipper and Mable are the main characters and that their development is the most important. Obviously, side characters need to be developed, but the main characters or protagonists will always have the most important character arc. Otherwise, they will fall into forgetfulness or they will simply be remembered as this bad example of protagonist. Go to hell, Ross Geller. Number 3, the Northwest Manor. Thinking of the third place on the podium is the Northwest Manor episode, and is it becoming clear that I love horror parodies? Once again, let's remember that Gravity Falls is a show for kids. A non-violent show full of simple themes.
Please, help me! Whoa, that is messed up!
This episode is so great and, in my opinion, the best horror episode. It revolves around the fact that Pacifica Northwest, Mabel's arch nemesis, needs Dipper's help to get rid of a ghost haunting the manor. And it is revealed that the Northwest family could easily get rid of the ghosts themselves just by allowing the townsfolk into their party. The episode pushes the limit of what it is okay to show little kids on Disney Channel. We have blood coming out of animals' head, we have suggested decapitation, we have exorcism for Christ's sake. Am I demonetized yet? All that taking place in an hybrid between the classic cabin in the woods of Gravity Falls and the Victorian era iconography. Something that I really appreciate. Plus, have you seen these colors, these light effects? The cinematography of this episode was worked on and the result show the greatness of the product. This is also a great development episode for yes Dipper, but also Pacifica Northwest, giving birth to my personal favorite ship of the entire show, the Pacifica.
I am just another link in the world's worst chain.
Pacifica, I'm sorry about what I said earlier.
Dipica? Pacifica? And the ending of this episode. The ending. This is where the final countdown literally steps up. And this is where the final storyline of Forbes and Bill, the weird Mageddon, the war between dimensions sets off.
You know what, McGucket? How about we talk about this stuff tomorrow? It's a party. Let's have some fun for once, huh?
Oh, this is bad! Something's coming! Something big!
We can see it. This episode is the beginning of the end for Gravity Falls and setting up the next entry. Number 2, Dipper and Mable versus the future plus Weirdmageddon. A 4-way tie in the second place? Why? For the sole reason that these 4 episodes are not 4 episodes. They are roughly 22 minutes each for a total of 88 minutes. There is a clear beginning, middle, and end to the Weirdmageddon storyline. Entire storyline mainly set up by Dipper's decision to stay in Gravity Falls and abandon his sister.
Dipper, I've been thinking. I'm getting too old to investigate Gravity Falls on my own. I need to train an apprentice to help me fight monsters, solve mysteries, and protect this town. And I think I'd like to keep it in the family.
Tell me it's not true, Dipper. Tell me you're joking. Ford's apprentice? Seriously?
Giving a redemption arc to the Pine Twins?
Do you really think he's gonna make good on that deal?
What other choice do we have?
And defeating the final antagonist.
Turn around and look at me, you one-eyed demon! You're a real wise guy, but you made one fatal mistake. You messed with my family.
Which is my theory for this episode. I believe it was written to be a TV movie. And what a great movie it is. Long story short, the first episode revolves around Dipper and Forbes going to explore an alien ship. There, Forbes will propose to Dipper to become his apprentice. Only problem is he has to abandon Mable once again. And here the stakes are, can Dipper sacrifice his relationship with Mable to become like Forbes? And would it be a good thing for Dipper to become like Forbes? The short answer is no, but Dipper won't learn that until the end of the series. Meanwhile, this is also the final showdown, the attack of Bill, the Weirdmageddon, and not only the episodes including my favorite shots, but also what I consider to be the objective best moment of Gravity Falls altogether.
Hey, look at me. Turn around and look at me, you one-eyed demon! You're a real wise guy, but you made one fatal mistake. You messed with my family.
You're making a mistake. I'll give you anything. Money, fame, riches, infinite power, your own galaxy, please! No! Deadly!
Guess I was good for something after all.
This episode is a tear-jerker. You cry for Stan's sacrifice, you cry for his loss of memory, and you cry when Dipper and Mable leave Gravity Falls. All that packed together with some impressive action and gorgeous animation, color grading, lighting, and everything that makes Gravity Falls Gravity Falls.
It's finally happening! Physical form, don't mind if I do!
It's the Shacktron, dude!
Not so fast! You two wait here! I've got some children I need to make into corpses!
See you real soon!
No! Wait, no!
If this TV movie is so great, why is it only number 2? Because it was aired as episodes and not as a TV movie. So they had to throw some quick plot point to justify to finish the episode at the mark of 22 minutes between each airing. The final showdown between Stan and Bill happens midway through the last episode. This is usually something that you reserve for the end of the episode, but in the movie format, it is justifiable to have a 10 minutes epilogue afterwards. In the meantime, there is also the zodiac sign, which I think is probably the worst part of the entire show. I'm sorry. Of course, I get the idea. The cast of Gravity Falls has grown together as a family capable of taking on even the gods with the power of love or bullshit like that. But first of all, you could take the Zodiac away from the story and it changes really nothing. The only purpose of the Zodiac is getting Stan and Forbes to fight.
Between me and him, I'm not always the bad twin.
Between him and me. Grammar, Stanley.
Oh, Grammar Stanley, you stuck-up son!
Let's face it, Stan and Ford fighting, it's not that difficult to write without a magic Zodiac.
Want to break a record, Ford? You already got it for world's nerdiest old man.
Hey, at least I'm not all keyed up to watch a kid's show.
Long as I live, I will never,
Uncle Stan, wait!
ever
Stanley!
play your smarty pants nerd game. Stay away from the kids. I don't want them in danger. Because as far as I'm concerned, They're the only family I have left. That's it? You finally want to see me after 10 years, and it's to tell me to get as far away from you as possible?
No accident, Stan. You did this. You did this because you couldn't handle me going to college on my own. You really think I'm gonna thank you after what you did 30 years ago?
What I did? Why, you ungrateful!
Plus, are you telling me that this ice symbol symbolizing the coolness of Wendy is a millennium symbol capable of taking on a literal god?
Ice? Who's ice?
The symbols needn't all be literal, Dipper. It just has to be someone cool in the face of danger.
Wendy! Wendy!
It's okay to be constructive, but to be honest, it's a really great four-parter. I'm just trying to expose the flaws of the movie instead of the episodes. And unfortunately, these episodes would be at the top of this list if it were not for these little flaws. Opposite to number 1, Not What It Seems, and A Tale of Two Stands. What? At number 1, the mid-season's finale and mid-season's premiere. I can do this. This is the favorite episode of everyone! Not What It Seems is at the top of every single best episode of Gravity Falls list. But hey, I decided to include its follow-up, A Tale of Two Stands, because they're technically a two-parter. In fact, Not What It Seems is mainly to set up A Tale of Two Stands. Let's start with Not What It Seems. Not What It Seems is probably the biggest lore drop in the entire saga. This is the episode where the portal is revealed, it is revealed what it is, and the kids finally find it. It is revealed that Stan is trying to bring his own twin brother back from another dimension.
Who is that?
The author of the journals. My brother.
Other dimension that he himself sent him 30 years ago.
Stanley! Stanley! Do something!
The stakes are higher than ever. This is where Gravity Falls starts being a show enjoyable for everyone and not just for animation enthusiasts and little kids. This is an action-packed adventure full of mystery. And I remember the first time I saw it when they tried to hint at the fact that grunkle Stan might be the villain of the show.
Stan Pine's dead?
Foul play suspected in Pine's death. Fiery car crash breaks cut.
Andrew 8-Ball Alcatraz. These are fake IDs, Mabel. You wouldn't need these unless you were trying to hide your real identity. Unless Stan...
Isn't Stan?
I remember that not only I believed it, but also that if this is the road they would have taken, I would have been pretty okay with it. For the sole reason that the episode is written for you to believe it, and that this is an interesting road to explore. Plus, the emotional appeal of this episode is a real tearjerker.
No! Don't touch that button!
Uncle Stan, I don't even know if you're my grunkle.
To say that you're gonna hear some bad things about me, and some of them are true. But trust me, everything I've worked for, everything I care about, it's all for this family.
Mabel, what if he's lying?
Look into my eyes, Mabel. You really think I'm a bad guy?
He's lying!
Uncle Stan? 6, 5. I trust you.
And finally, A Tale of Two Stands. This is the episode that followed up the previous one. This is a gigantic flashback telling the story of Forbes and Stan, the original Pine twins, roughly from the age where they were Dipper and Mabel, all the way through their late 60s. Stan and Forbes were two twins. Forbes was the smart one, he has a bright future, and Stan, he's a mess.
You have two sons. One of them is incredibly gifted. The other one is standing outside this room and his name's Stanley.
What are you saying?
I'm saying your son Stanford is a genius!
When Stan get his brother kicked off of college...
It's all your fault, you dumb machine!
A fuse must have blown or something.
Kid, a perpetual motion machine has one job, to not stop.
Why would I want to do anything with the person who sabotaged my entire future?
He buys a small house in the town of Gravity Falls to do his research. This is where Forbes will write the journals documenting all the weirdness in Gravity Falls, to eventually be confronted by Stanley, his little brother.
Some brother you turned out to be. You care more about your dumb mysteries than your family?
The two battle it out in an epic showdown, and Forbes is sent in another dimension. This episode is so great because this is the one that brings answer. Answers to all the questions we've been wondering since the first episode. What is Stan doing in his basement? How are there so many weird things in Gravity Falls? Who wrote the goddamn journals?
I began to keep a journal.
The journals! Sorry, just got excited there.
There is an entire season 1.5 composed of little side stories of short episodes about who wrote the journals. And this episode casually answers the question, making it technically the biggest payoff in the entire series. And since there are less mystery at the end, there is more room for the main plot, which is the crusade of Forbes versus Bill and everything in between.
This Armageddon wouldn't be possible without help from our friend here. Give him a six-fingered hand.
This episode also clarifies the origin of Old Man McGucket.
Call up my old college buddy, Fiddleford McGucket, a young but brilliant mechanic. Ready? And... Fiddleford?
When gravity falls and Earth becomes sky, fear the beast with just one eye.
Fiddleford.
And establishes once and for all the parallel between Forbes and Stan and Mable and Dipper.
I began to keep a journal. Just going to ignore that.
Which in my books makes it one of the best, if not the best episode of Gravity Falls, tied with Not What It Seems. And also an episode that I often rewatch. But you, behind your screen, tell me in the comment section, what are your favorite episodes of Gravity Falls? Did I miss something? Did I misinterpret something? Question, comment, insults? All welcome in the comment section down below. Then remember to subscribe and activate the bell to be notified whenever a new video comes up. Follow me on my social media if you want to support my artwork. Share this video with all your Gravity Falls fan friends, and as always, thanks for watching.